All right, let's jump right in. Today's explainer is a direct expansion of what we started in EP.5, the choice. We're going to break down the foundational concept of the 7 properties of good money. But, not through some dry, boring economics lecture. Instead, we're diving into this brilliantly gamified narrative that makes these concepts absolutely unforgettable. Let's unlock the secrets of what makes money, well, actual money.
So, our journey begins with Alicesa. Think of her as representing, well, us, the modern person finally waking up from a pretty deceptive financial system. The scene opens in a secret room. She checks her digital wallet and makes this incredible discovery. Boom! 1 full Bitcoin is sitting right there. Naturally, she's absolutely thrilled. But when she tries to hit send, the system completely blocks her.
Now, you can imagine Alicesa is incredibly frustrated right now. She protests, pointing out the obvious. She can literally see the money. The transfer was made to her, so why on earth can't she use it? This is exactly where her mysterious guide, Satoshi, steps in with a pretty powerful lesson. He explains that the money isn't truly hers until she actually understands what it is. In this new paradigm, ownership requires deep comprehension, not just blind possession.
Right on cue, a system interface named BitDraw chimes in with a robotic beep, revealing that a smart contract has actually locked the Bitcoin. It is bound tightly by 7 glowing chains. To release those chains and claim the asset, Alicesa has to pass the ultimate test. She has to demonstrate a flawless understanding of the 7 properties of good money.
Satoshi hits her with this really profound thought. He says, "The receipt of a key does not mean you know where the door leads." Think about how relevant this is to us today. You might have downloaded the app, you might even hold your own private keys. But if you don't understand the foundational principles of the asset you're holding, you're just kind of stumbling in the dark. It's all about deep comprehension. Otherwise, you're just holding onto a tool you have absolutely no idea how to use.
At this point, Alicesa totally panics. She thinks she's going to have to rote memorize 7 complex academic English terms. But Satoshi, playing the role of the ultimate, maybe slightly lazy but brilliant mentor, stops her. He lays out a golden rule for learning. Do not just memorize vocabulary. Instead, build a visual memory palace. And honestly, that's exactly what we're going to do with you right now. We're going to lock these concepts into your brain using pure imagery.
Okay, so suddenly the floor of the room splits wide open, revealing 7 massive, imposing vault doors. Behind the very first giant vault door, Satoshi poses a riddle. He asks, can fire, water, time, and natural disasters destroy it? Think about paper money going up in flames or metal literally rusting away over centuries. Good money absolutely must survive the elements and the brutal test of time itself.
This brings us to the first property, durability. And to really anchor this in our memory palace, we aren't just going to remember the word. Instead, I want you to visualize an eternal, unyielding, blazing flame. Simple as that. If your wealth can withstand the fire, it has durability.
Let's move along to the second door and see how this builds. Satoshi asks another pretty heavy question here. Does wealth follow you, or are you a slave to carrying it? Think about trying to flee a dangerous situation while lugging around 1,000 pounds of gold. The physical weight of your wealth can literally trap you. Good money should never be a massive burden you have to physically haul around.
That brings us to the property of portability. And the image we're locking into our minds for this one is just a simple suitcase. It perfectly represents the ability for your wealth to travel seamlessly and effortlessly with you across borders and vast distances, totally without weighing you down.
Now, behind door number 3, we face a major question of scale. Satoshi asks if the currency can be broken down effectively. Like, can it facilitate a transaction as massive as buying an entire house, while also being practical enough to just go buy a single, inexpensive piece of candy? If your money is a solid bar of gold, well, trying to shave off a microscopic piece for some candy is a total nightmare.
And this brilliantly illustrates divisibility. Just picture a piece of hard candy shattered into smaller, exact fragments. For money to be good, it has to be infinitely and precisely divisible to accommodate trades of absolutely any size, whether massive or microscopic.
At the fourth door, Satoshi asks a slightly more philosophical question. He says, should one unit of money remain equal in value to another unit, no matter whose pocket it previously sat in? Think about it. It really shouldn't matter if a specific unit of currency was previously owned by a criminal or a saint. Its purchasing power must remain completely identical to the next unit. We call this fungibility.
Sure, it's a bit of a big academic word, but you can effortlessly lock it into your memory by visualizing two perfectly identical, balanced coins on a scale. One unit seamlessly replaces another without any loss or gain in value whatsoever.
Moving on, the fifth door addresses the silent thief we all know way too well, inflation. Satoshi asks a critical question here. Can someone out there just conjure up more of this money to steal your value? If a central authority can just magically hit print and create more currency out of thin air, they're literally diluting the power of the money sitting right there in your savings account.
So this brings us to absolute scarcity, anchored in our memory palace by this epic image of a crystal mountain containing exactly 21 million pieces, and literally not a single one more. True scarcity means there is a hard mathematical cap that no human, no government, and absolutely no corporation can ever manipulate or inflate.
Nearing the end now at door 6, we are fundamentally challenged on the concept of trust. Satoshi asks, do you have the power to check the truth yourself? Or must you blindly pray that the regulators and rulemakers aren't lying to you? In traditional finance, we're basically forced to trust banks and auditors. But in a perfect money system, you shouldn't have to trust anyone but the math itself.
The crucial point here is verifiability. And it's easily remembered by picturing a magnifying glass closely inspecting digital code. Good money allows any ordinary person to audit the entire system and verify its authenticity totally independently, without ever having to ask for permission.
We finally arrive at the seventh and final door, where Satoshi asks the ultimate question of freedom. If everyone in society hates you, or if you fall out of favor with the powers that be, can someone just press a button and seize or freeze your money? Because if your bank account can be shut off simply because of your opinions, is that money really even yours?
This is censorship resistance. It's symbolized powerfully by an ordinary citizen's hand tightly holding their own key. It means no authority, no matter how insanely powerful, can confiscate your wealth or block you from transacting. You, and only you, are in total sovereign control.
So faced with this ultimate test, Alicesa just closes her eyes. Instead of struggling to recall those complex English terms, she navigates her brand new memory palace. She flawlessly recalls all 7 images: the fire, the suitcase, the candy, the 2 coins, the 21 million mountain, the magnifying glass, and the key. A reassuring beep confirms it. She achieved a 100% success rate. But just as she's celebrating, the first glowing chain wrapping that 1 BTC suddenly snaps. It morphs right into a glowing red flame. Then the system UI flashes with a terrifying new prompt. Next mission, durability, the fire test. The theoretical part of her exam, yeah, that's over. The practical application is just beginning. Alicesa is understandably confused and asks if she finally gets to spend the 1 BTC now. Satoshi casually, almost humorously remarks, well, if you survive. Bitra immediately issues a severe warning. This next stage involves literally surviving house fires, exploding mountains, and the total destruction of assets to test these 7 theories in brutal, real-world practice. Needless to say, Alicesa is left in total shock. As Satoshi casually decides to just take a nap while waiting for this metaphorical house to burn down, we are left with a stark warning for this explainer. Don't just remember the name of money, remember the properties that actually make it money. The labels on our currency literally don't matter if the underlying foundation is weak. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. Look at the money sitting in your bank account right now. If you ran it through this 7-door test today, how many chains do you think would actually unlock?